All right, this is another episode of the Terrorisk Podcast.
Hello, everybody.
It's a Friday evening. It was a really nice day today. The weather was pretty tight.
Yeah, it's been beautiful out. I feel bad on my vacation. I went out when people called me out, but on my days where nobody told me to do anything, I just stayed inside and played
Like a
Assassin's
piece
Creed.
of fucking shit.
Like a piece of fucking garbage human being.
What the fuck, man? How was your Memorial Day?
Oh, it was great. We had a couple people over, like my friends. Had a good barbecue. Had built up like I had to clean the fuck out of the backyard and wipe everything down. Like we do it nice. We do it classy. We're classy.
Classy.
And I didn't get too drunk. We called it a night early. Like at the end of the night, it got cold and breezy, and we were like, I think this is saying we should just not get fucking wrecked tonight, and just we had a couple beers each. We're good. Let's just go inside and stop. And that was good. Mom was happy. She saw me bring home a 6-pack, and she's like, "Oh, Brent's gonna be fucked up tonight or something." And I'm like, "I gotta prove her wrong."
It's just a 6-pack. It's not.
I had a 6-pack of Corona. That's 4.2% with the limes in it and everything. I was slowly sipping them. I wasn't going hard. Yeah, it was nice. We played some acoustic songs in the back.
Did John show up?
Oh no, it was Jay, Pat, and Zep.
Cool.
Pat's such an amazing musician. He's so fucking humble about it.
Pat Falvey's he's pretty experienced, I would
He's
say.
such a good musician. He's like, I'm not that good. I'm like, that's why you're good, because you never think you're good enough, and that's why you get so much better.
I don't know. It's the bass, you know? The bass is the bass, the bass.
Guitar too. He's like a aficionado. He can just pick up instruments. And
Oh yeah, it also runs in his family.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. He's such a nice dude too.
Yeah, he is. So anyway, for today's episode, I figured we'd do something a little special. Follow a theme. We don't have to rush through it. We could take it piece by piece. But I'm thinking maybe we should do what's it called? Oh yeah. So today's episode is going to be all about, because I've been doing this for more than a year now. I think I started this shit last fucking spring, which is a little more than a year ago. So
I came on a couple of months afterwards then.
Possibly, probably. But
Cool.
but anyway, this is 5 things we wish we knew before we started podcasting. And this is good. This is going to be good shit, because I'm sure at least some of you might be curious, even if you don't particularly like this shit. At least you might want to have some insight in case you wanted to do your own podcast.
If you're watching this, you probably like this shit.
All right, so let's start with number 1. I would say the first thing that I wish I knew before I started podcasting was no one gives a shit, and that's okay. And what I mean by this is that you can't expect your shit to blow up over a day. You can't even expect 5 people to give a shit or subscribe over a day. Shit takes time. Especially if it's a show like this, where it's pretty much it's literally promoted as the most unmarketable podcast in the world. That's literally what I typed in. So, that's, so you're already going uphill from there. And it's not it's oh, we're a true crime podcast. We're a scary story podcast. We're a, there's podcasts that are just about a thing. And since this isn't really like that, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna. The only people that are going to stick around are people who are interested in us as people, which, that automatically is a long shot.
Well, we had a couple of people when I joined. I guess I say crazy shit that started kind of trying to talk to me and follow me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's because I showed the podcast to some of my Discord friends, and they really liked you. They were like, yeah, he's surprisingly thoughtful, even though he's a fucking retard. I was like, yep, that's Brendan.
That's exactly what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking assholes.
Oh, I mean, do you disagree?
I'm not a fucking retard. I'm just kind of a little fucked up. But
yeah. Isn't every retard just a little fucked up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, all right, no one gives a shit. No one's gonna give a fuck about your fucking pod. I think that's why most people don't do it. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of fucking people say they would do it, but they just don't do it. And I'm pretty sure it's because we all know, most of us know deep down, no one's gonna give a shit. So why would I do it? Now, why would I do it? It's because, well, I have my own reasons for doing the podcast. You know, for one, it let me really learn how to edit videos. It allowed me to exercise my production skills in ways that I'm not used to. You know, 'cause
Also, you're a good host, I think.
well, that's just like the gift of gab. You know, I think that comes from experience, like having to deal with people for like different jobs I've had in the past. Like I was a sales rep, so I had to like really try to talk to people, even not even like like not even clients, but like I had to actually talk to coworkers a lot and like people who were, you know, that I had to share email correspondence with to get shit done. And you kind of learn how to like really communicate with people. And also I watched, like growing up, I just watched so many movies. So I was raised by the television because that's how I said this so many times on this fucking show. But yeah, my way of getting like indoctrinated to American culture was by like examining, you know, all the cultural exports that America had to offer, like movies, television shows. That's how I kind of got like this like social sense of like, you know, what kind of verbiage that people react to at what times, and like, you know, different archetypes fitting different like patterns of language and all that shit. And that's just something I just had to figure out as an Asian kid, you know? Because my parents didn't teach me that. I couldn't examine my parents and learn how to be an American. Like I had to learn it through fucking through TV.
Is that really what happens?
What?
So, were your parents immigrants?
Yeah, my whole I'm the firstborn.
So they're completely culture shocked when they came here. So they were like still in their own culture living here.
No,
and you had to like
no. My dad and my aunts were kids when they came here.
because at this point in America we have a lot of people like who like or you know.
I'm just saying my dad's generation and his siblings when they came here, they were kids. So yeah, they were like very much so born in another country and like grew up in another country. But when they came here, they were still young enough to like lose the accent with their English and to read a lot of books and to study a lot in America. So yeah, they're very Americanized, but even still, they don't know what it means to be born as an American citizen. You know? They're immigrants. I was the first American born citizen in this family. So I had to like figure that shit out on my own. They couldn't teach me what that, you know, like how that was going to go down. They still got to go to elementary school in their home native country. You know, they still went to like the earliest grades in school.
Yeah, they were raised in that country and you were born in this country, which is
so,
totally fucking different.
Exactly. So like, you know, I had to like really figure out that, and basically that's where my
I'm trying to wrap around it because like you know, being me, like, I'm white as fuck. So you know, Irish American, but fucking, you know, I grew up with Americanized parents, so I couldn't think about what that would be like to have parents who like spend like the, you know, most of their young years somewhere completely different and then came here and like figured shit out, because it's still a big difference, I think, where like you know I'll have parents that are like joking about like jokes from like 10 20 years ago and stuff, and like, you know, they have all this like pop culture information and all this other shit, and like, you know.
Yeah, another thing that really helped me out, like in regards to what you were saying about my abilities as a host for a podcast, basically my ability to talk to people, and how to steer a conversation.
I think it's the gap too, but it comes out in like spurts of fucking.
That's not the
ADD fucking you know, like
all that's just like talking a lot. That's
yeah,
not really.
It works out a lot of the time. Like it's just like a monkey on a typewriter. You know, everyone. You know,
no,
statistically, every once in a while something's gonna come out.
But that's not how like being a good host for a podcast
yeah, because
works.
you have to divert and actually pay attention to the conversation. I'm sitting here saying shit,
just waiting for your chance to speak, basically.
Or I get a cue that is like, you've been saying too much shit or about this one bullshit subject, and I have to get a cue. Well,
all right. So here's the thing.
Social cue.
I think like the difference between me and you, like specifically with this like kind of thing, like with podcasting, I studied a lot of psychology, like not even academically, not even professionally. I did it because this goes back to what I was saying, like being lost in the world in my young years. Like I had no real guidance. So like I was trapped in this world around these people and I had no idea what was going through their heads. I had no idea how to navigate society because no one really taught me how, you know, so I had to learn it myself. So I read a lot of books, like, remember that evil book you hated? The 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, so I read that book not as a means of like learning like evil tools. I read that book because what that book really teaches you isn't how to like fuck people over. It's how everyone really thinks deep down. We all like everyone. A lot of people.
It's our side shit, but it's also true.
Yeah,
everything in that book, like I'm not like. yeah, if I acted this way and did this way around people,
This is how I would have to handle
I could
it, you know?
influence them this way and this way. It definitely would work.
So like so stuff like that, you know, like it's basically self-help shit.
The dark side works, though.
No. What
Look at Star Wars.
we're not,
It
you
works.
call it the dark side,
It doesn't
whatever.
mean it's good.
You call it the dark side. What you should really call it is just basic psychology. You know, like it really boils down to what, like, you know, like what people want.
But it's also, I feel like it's also preying on other, like, also, like, okay, you're, like, if I stand like this in certain ways, I'm going to make this guy feel insecure. No matter what they think, I know I'm psychologically fucking this guy. If I talk this way and stand this way, it's a definite...
Yeah, but like,
it's
here's the
kind of-
thing.
it's cold and
But here's the thing.
calculated. It works, but I don't like the
you
way
think
it
it's
works.
you think it's that basic. But a lot of times you could just most of the time, most often than not, that insecurity happens without the other person even meaning to. Like, I don't mean to talk about my successes. No, listen.
Oh,
Let
yeah,
me
that
finish.
shit's
Let me
going
finish.
on even
Let me
if you're not
finish. Let me
diverting
finish.
it, yeah.
Let me finish. I don't mean to talk about my successes and make you feel insecure about it. I was just trying to celebrate the things I'm good at and the things I can. And, you know, if the things that I happen to be good at happen to outnumber the things that a lot of other people happen to be good at, so what? Then I'm like a cut above the rest. Now, here's the thing. When you're a person like that, you're like super sensitive to it. Like, you think people are ignorant to how they make other people feel. Like, no. Like, eventually you learn that lesson in the worst way. Like, you know, you want to celebrate the things you're good at, and suddenly your friends are like treating you differently. Suddenly your friends are like being mean to you for no reason. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's a very painful and excruciating process to learn why that is and what that's rooted in. And you realize it's rooted in their insecurity. So it's something you have to deal with, right? So you have to, like, you spend a few years dumbing yourself down. You're like, I'm going to hide these qualities. I don't want to make people feel that way because I know how it's. But then you get tired of that because eventually you're like, you get old enough and you're like, why the fuck should I give a shit about their
So,
feelings?
you mean the whole time they knew that you had this kind of ability and power, and they deep down subconsciously maybe were afraid of it, so always put you down
Yeah,
to keep
yeah.
you down here
But then
because
eventually-
they know you can get up here, and they're like, no, you're fucking here, you're fucking down there.
Yeah.
You know. And
but do you know what happens?
You're like, no, I'm fucking not.
But do you know what happens when a person like that, what really activates them? It's when they get separated from that pack for just long enough where they see life like away from those people. That's what a toxic friend group is like. You know, it's usually like they're holding one person who's capable and has more potential than the rest, but they keep them there because they would hate to see them go and like do better than the rest. So it's like that's a toxic friend group to be sucked in. It's a parasitic relationship. But the minute that person leaves that group and then suddenly they find that they're doing a lot better and people actually treat them with respect and are actually impressed by the things they could do, they're like, holy shit, my friends are pieces of shit.
Okay, I totally get that because like I was a fucking loser, like fucking like a weird fucking nerdy. Like me and JoJo and Mark had no fucking friends. I couldn't talk to a fucking girl, anything before like even through high school. But after high school, I dropped out and we started the punk band. And I guess my experience after that, with everyone coming to the shows, especially like maybe a couple years younger, when you're 16. 2 years younger is a lot fucking younger than you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're 20 fucking 8 and somebody's fucking 26, it's not that different. But that time, yes, it is. Every fucking year counts a lot. And I guess when we did get popular, if it was like kind of like anywhere we went, they were kind of like sucking our dicks. So I had the opposite experience of that because I was already like to them, like I guess doing this, and then like they, you know, it was an automatic like
That's
first
called-
impression
yeah,
respect,
yeah.
and I was respected anywhere I fucking went, and after that I was still a fuck up. It was like almost like an imposter syndrome at first because I'm like. You didn't realize, like, a year before this, me, Mark, and JoJo were sitting there at Virgin's fucking drinking fucking Coors in his basement crying and shit and, like, mosh pitting in his fucking bed. You know, like, you know, and then now all of a sudden, everyone thinks we're, like, these badass fucking sexual deviants and shit, and girls are fucking trying to talk to us and shit. And, like, it was weird because I'm like, we're playing a show. Yeah, we're a punk band, and this is how I feel on stage, but... In social life, I am not a fucking dumb, especially with at this point in my life, you know? And I guess wherever I went after that, it was like, oh, it's Brendan from Lucky Fuck. Yo, come in. You want a fucking drink? Yeah, I'll buy you whatever. You know, it was a little bit different. So, yeah, I guess I don't really, I never had that aspect of it. I might have it nowadays in my life. And especially when I moved to Denton, I got like you know, I'm not the shit here. You know, I'm in a new fucking place. And, you know, I think that's a good humbling thing too. But yeah, for a while, I was somebody to everybody. You know,
And now you're not.
it's better like that because I have a shorter circle of people that I hang out with that I actually trust and like. You know, rather than a bunch of people like, oh, we're hanging out with Brendan from Lucky Fucks and JoJo's here too. And it's like it's like a minor, like such a slight minor celebrity thing, but it does something socially. It's, like whenever I went somewhere, I didn't go as just for some random fuck. I went there as Brendan from the Lucky Fucks.
Yeah.
And as egotistical as it sounded, sometimes that was in my mind. I'm like, I know that I'm going to be welcomed with open arms and nobody's going to give me fucking shit.
Okay, so
nobody's going to try to hurt me.
So the point is, what point is what I was saying is whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you admit it or not, people do have those shitty tendencies. Now, here's my belief. Like, you look at a book like The 48 Laws of Power. It's just going to spell it out plainly. It's not going to say this is good, this is the way you should behave. It's not going to say this is the way you shouldn't behave. All it says is this is the way people are. My belief is that I think everyone should just fucking admit it. The sooner we all admit it together that, yes, this is the game we all play with each other, that's the only way you could transcend it. But the minute people like you are always like, I don't like it, I don't want to learn about it, I don't want to get good at it. No, if everyone got good at it, then none of us would have to be, because we would all know the game we're all playing. But it's the fact that there are people like you, fact that there are people like you who are just deny that element of human nature. That's the reason why others could exploit it. Because there's ones who acknowledge it but admit they're bad at it. The ones who acknowledge it who try to get good at it. But there's the one who's just deny it because they're afraid of it.
Not true, because when I moved to Texas, I was there for 7 years, and I wasn't any. I was only the shit for like 2 or 3 years in my life, and I'm 30 fucking.
But we're not talking about you at this point. I'm just saying people.
But I don't abide by those laws, and I go around, and I'm just friendly and nice, and wherever I go, like even my new job, everyone's like, "Hey, Brendan," like everyone people like me.
Okay.
And I think there's an opposite way of getting the best out of your personal relationships. Other than that,
okay,
like trying to think about the psychology
Brendan,
of it rather than just being kind of.
No. I'm not talking. Look, I'm not talking about I'm not saying this literally invades my mindset every time with every human interaction. I'm just saying it's something I'm very well versed in because I did a lot of reading about it. So what if I'm knowledgeable? It doesn't make me enjoy human interaction any less. That's just it's just, if anything, it's a plus.
No, but it does suck when you're hanging out with people and they're trying to put you down. Like I remember a lot of times, like when I was learning how to sing years after that, and I'd be singing something like I sucked at first. I got better and better, a little bit better, and got better and better. But I sucked, and it's different. I was about to say in Texas, when you're just some fuck and you're somewhere, everyone still kind of shows you some kind of respect. But in New York, it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. In Texas, it's a little opposite. Once you're proven guilty in Texas, they shun you. But if you're just a cool dude, everyone's like, hey, but you're a cool dude. Nobody's gonna fucking try to step on you and put you down or bring you down. Where here, it's kind of a little bit more like, it's more masculine. I'm gonna say it's more fucking masculine in New York, where guys are more like, we test each other, we fucking push each other, we're a little bit more aggressive with each other.
Well, it's because there's more people
here. Where in
here.
Texas, if you're like, because I've been singing a song like, hey, who sings this song, Brendan? I'm like, oh, it's by the. Keep it that way. Like shit like that, and it's like that kind of hurt, but we take it. We're like in New York, we're supposed to brush it off. We're fucking New Yorkers. We're fucking tough. It's not the real case, I don't think. In Texas, I think that it's when you don't see as many people every day, you're nicer to every person a little bit more, and strange. Sometimes it almost fake to me, but like. It wasn't always fake, I don't think.
All right, can I ask you something? So what do you think about this, right? Let's say
they weren't trying to power struggle.
Let's say you're nice to people, right? Because you are nice to people, right? And that's why people like you, right?
Not just that.
I'm just saying, people generally speaking, if you're nice to people,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm nice.
Okay, so
I wasn't always nice in my life.
What would you think about a person?
It took me a while to be
What would you think about
nice.
a person? What do you mean it took you a while? You were always a fucking nice
I wasn't
person.
always nice. I was spitting at people and calling fucking emo kids faggots.
So that doesn't mean you weren't nice to people you knew.
I was also a drug addict. I definitely wasn't nice during that time.
All I'm gonna say is, what would you think about a person who's liked but isn't nice? They're not really nice, but people still seem to like them. Now, why would you think that is?
A lot of with the punk rock thing, when people listen, the people who didn't know me and didn't think I was nice in real life saw me as this fucking fuck you, fucking punk rock dude.
Okay.
So, and they I think deep down they felt like they wish they want to be able to be like, fuck you, you fucking, and be a cunt. And I think punk rock, a lot of people like punk rock because deep down they're cunts. and they want to be more of a cunt and be openly a cunt. And that gives them the like, yeah, oh, they said that, I can be a fucking cunt.
Yeah, like a piece of, like, it's cathartic for them because it's
Yes.
they repress that part about
Yeah, they
themselves.
repress this, and now somebody's like, "Fuck you, you fucking cunt," and they're like, "Yeah, I can fucking yeah." It's kind of
Okay.
immature in a way, actually.
But like if they see someone who's abrasive when they struggle so hard to be soft and nice all the time, it feels it's exciting for them. It excites them. I mean, they could recoil too. Some
Yeah,
people
but there's been so many times I'm like, the music does it to me. The music makes me like that. So I would be like that abrasive on stage and shit. And sometimes I remember there was a time at the mall I was with like a girl and these emo kids came up and there was like that riot show that happened. They're like, oh, you're in the lucky fuck. And I went out and I started swinging at them. And then security came in. I pretended like they hit me first. And they got in trouble, but I like went at it. It's like hit like 3 of them. There's like emo kids and shit. I did things like that a lot, and I didn't
So
feel
what? That's
bad
pussy
about it.
shit.
But nowadays, I feel bad about it. Like
that's pussy shit though.
yeah,
No one
but
gives a shit about that.
I know,
Brendan.
but I feel bad about it
Because you're a
like,
pussy. You're a fucking pussy.
That's not being a pussy.
It's like
It's
why do
feeling
you?
bad about something that
I mean,
you did that you feel was wrong, and you're, now I'm 34 now, so I'm like,
You know what's funny? I
I'm
could think of
17, yes, but they're
way
also like 16,
way more
17.
fucked up shit that you did that you should
And
feel
to
a lot
me-
worse about.
To them, in their minds, in their life, I was a garbage person. And I don't like to think that I was somebody who traumatized somebody or hurt somebody. And I've traumatized a lot of people and hurt a lot of people. And now I have to deal with the fact that, so I have to be nice to as many people as I fucking can.
Because you're
I
carrying
have
that
been
guilt.
the fucking protagonist in people's lives before. Unintentionally maybe, or maybe intentionally, but I don't like that. Because I was just immature and being
That's
a
mad
cunt.
funny. For me, it's I felt like I spent too many years trying to appease everyone, and now life has gotten a lot better when I
think
stopped.
we went like this.
Yeah, but
both of us.
but the difference is life for you got shittier, life for me got better. So, I mean, think about that. Who's really right in the end, buddy?
I don't think of it like that. I think it's better to live a life with shittier being a good person at this point than getting everything you fucking want but being a piece of shit to do
Hey,
it.
Say what
you know.
Yeah, you know what? Whatever. If it works for you, it works for you. All I know is
I'd rather
this
die
definitely-
knowing I didn't hurt that because I also think I have a conscience. So I think
All right.
about,
First of all,
okay, this
look,
person
no,
might
no, no.
be
See,
scarred,
that's
this
not fair.
person
That's
might
not
be-
fair. That's not fair because I feel like you're misunderstanding me too. Fundamentally, like I want you to know, I don't start with people. The only time it seems like, honestly, more often than not, it looks like I start with people and I have to defend myself really because in my experience, people say like really disrespectful shit without even like knowing that they're being disrespectful. So it's like, and it's like, especially if you've known them for a long time, like, all right, let me give you an example. Like fucking Daniela, right? There was like a whole stretch of
I
time.
don't like using people's names, but that's you. Whatever.
There was like a whole stretch of time where like I haven't seen her, right? And then like, I saw her again like after years later, and then everything was cool. We were catching up on old times. But then like she did the most typical Daniela thing. She was like, she comes up, she said, all right, you got to give me a ride here, and then you got to drive me here, blah, blah, blah. Like very demanding. And I was like, no, I'll get you a fucking Uber. And then she kept pushing. I was like, and then like I realized like what she must have been used to with guys. Like she must have been used to getting her way. And I straight up got
Oh yeah, no, that
and
I would get abrasive towards
and I
something
straight
like
up
that.
got in her face. I was like, "Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?" So it's like, you like that's in that situation. A lot of people looked at that and they were like, "Why'd you start with Daniela?" And I was like, "Dude, you don't really see like the actual like historical context behind this behavior. Like you might be used to the way she's acting and just say that's just Daniela. It's just the way she is." I'm like, "No, dude, that's not okay." So it's like if you're gonna be a bitch and then not even know it, fine, I'll be a dick and like pretend it's all normal too.
No, I know when to be a dick. I'm not completely like a fucking salt. Like no, I know when to, dude.
But that's just one example. So like there's like a lot of
I
times.
just gotta grab my insulin real quick because my meter just beeped.
All right, where is it?
See this thing? This is my little.
Where's your insulin? Just drag your bag here and just grab it.
It is.
All right, just no one. I don't want to fucking.
224.
All right, just get your fucking insulin. Insulin. So, no, seriously, don't stall. Get your fucking insulin. It's right there. All right, grab the mic. All right. Okay, so while you do your insulin, we'll
I'm
move.
gonna take 3 units of insulin.
We'll move on to the second point. The second thing I wish I knew before I started podcasting was people like to say the N-word. They really like to say the N-word a lot. There have been multiple instances. I mean, I've never said it once on this fucking show, and there have been multiple instances where I've had guests on, and then they would say it, they would let it slip, and they would realize they're being recorded, and they're like, oh shit, I said that, I accidentally said it. Because they would be white, and I would laugh. I'd be like, oh, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure like everyone knows you didn't mean it maliciously. And he was like, nah. You got to edit it out. You got to edit it out. And I'll be like, all right, you know what? Don't worry about it. I will edit it out. And guess what? I never edited it out.
That's concerning to me. Because if I get wasted and say something stupid, you're not gonna edit it out, even if you lied to me. That's not cool.
I'm saying it's like there's no point because they know what you said. Especially
they're probably like a typical white person who like does just say that nonchalantly, and it never rolled off my tongue.
First of all, anyone who tells me to edit it out, after saying it, would not be the kind of person to say it out of hatred. Straight up, like if they're already telling me like they're worried.
Also, this is fucking New York, and I'm sorry, man. I don't care where else you're from. If you're here living in fucking Oklahoma or fucking Texas, where it's fucking, you really have to take that shit that seriously. They have fucking Confederate statues everywhere. Because I was there, and I've heard the N-word with the R, and I'm like, oh shit. Like in a bar, I'm like, oh shit. So it's gonna go back. So the first time I heard it, when I came back here, it was in the locker room at my job. I'm just getting my pants back on, and they like, they going at it, and I'm like, the white dude's like, should I just fucking go ahead and just say the conversation? Like, I don't know. But and I'm like, oh shit, I turn around and like, they're both saying it. All the black dudes and the white dudes. And I'm like, oh, it's fucking New York. They're all the fucking same person.
Yeah.
We haven't had a bunch of just white fucking slave owners for that long. We were the Yankees. This is a little bit different. And it's like, it's almost like a solidarity thing for them. It never rolled off my tongue. I also think that white dudes or any dudes who wear their pants that are probably the most like low IQ people. And most of the white dudes I know that say the N-word are those people who don't wear their pants correctly. And they're usually stupid.
Can we make a deal? All right, you cannot criticize anybody for anything until you get your driver's license. Challenge yourself. The Brendan Driver challenge.
I don't think I can last the podcast.
At least you're honest about that. At least you're fucking honest.
I'm always ready to take back criticisms, though. I have so much humility. I won't defend myself for a second if I.
Brendan, I hope you know, I criticize you so much out of everyone in my life because you criticize people constantly. Like every other word in your mouth is saying how like something is done wrong and it should be this way because you know better. And like that triggers me so often to be like, dude.
But also, I don't actually egotistical think I know better. I'm stating my opinion, and I'm completely up for you not jiving with it. It's not like only a Sith deals in absolutes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything I say, I know it can't be an absolute because I have a very finite amount of experience and knowledge. Nothing I can possibly say can be completely fucking true. It's impossible. It's crazy to think that.
Ooh, that guy just got stabbed in the belly. Sorry, no, I was right. I was listening to you speak, and then in the corner of my eye,
You're
I
in
saw
the view of it. I'm trying to not pay.
Yeah, we were watching
Starship
Troopers is on right now. It's a fucking good movie.
Oh, it's one of the best.
There's no racism and sexism there, but it's definitely a fascist fucking country.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of having a common enemy, right? It's like if the world is sharing a common threat, they could be as fascist as they want, and it'll be like a total utopia. Save for the enemy trying to fucking wipe us out, but it still works. This is such a good movie.
You want to live forever?
Yeah, maybe we could do a movie review on this. That'll be funny.
You know what? I watch so many. I actually like watching movie and video game reviews. Especially my favorite thing. Like, I watch, the last episode of Obi-Wan review. And it'll be, multiple people crying. Like, grown men and females and so many different people are. I feel like it's like rewatching it.
I like video essays on video games and movies, not so much reviews, because reviews are like.
I watch essays too, but I like seeing people watch a movie. I like that there's so many new generations of people, that there's younger people that are more open-minded. Like there was this one chick, I don't know how she was almost maybe a teenager, but she fucking instead of watching the Lord of the Rings movie, she read every book first and did a review on them and then watched the movies. And I'm like, actually, you're one of the only people, one of the few people on this earth who have now are dead or like way older that have read the books and then seen the movies. Because I saw the movies and then read. I didn't. So now I'm reading the book, and when they say Gandalf, I'm thinking of Ian McKellen. So now I already have like a mental image. So when you read the book the first time without seeing a movie, I think it gives you the opportunity to put your own creative input. You have to think more about, okay, he's describing a character, okay, pointy hat, this kind of face, and you're making up an idea in your head, just like the first person who made the cartoon about it. Where if you watch the movie first, the book, you already have the every scene in your head. So when and so you're not actually reading a book, you're actually watching the movie while reading like a long subtitles about it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So and I watch it like that, like people who have never seen, people who are in their fucking 20s, 30s who have never seen Star Wars, and I'm like, you live on the planet? Like what's going on? But I like watching it, like they're like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, this movie was made in the fucking 70s and 80s. Like it's cool watching people react to it. It's like you're sitting with somebody watching it for the first time. Just like if you've watched a movie you really like and you want somebody else to get into it.
Yeah.
And like watching it with them, you're like you're going through the motions with them. It's more powerful than watching it again yourself. So I like doing that a lot. So I think that would be cool for us to do, maybe.
It's funny. I feel like I consider people's perspectives.
I like that.
I feel like I consider other people's perspectives more often than you.
Maybe. Why?
I don't know, because it's like I was just listening to you. So like basically you're saying you like it when people experience novel things for the first time, and you said it in like so many words. I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. But also what you were saying about the Lord of the Rings thing, I know what that feels like, because for the age that I grew up in, I read all the Harry Potter books before the movies dropped.
Okay.
So for me, I know exactly what that feels like, where it's like, I had this, even their voices were different in my head, with the dialogue and
you
shit.
had to make it up.
Yeah, but then now it's like, if I saw those movies first, every time I read those books, I would have just had but what that really also should be said that you didn't mention is like, it can't be understated how good those movies were at actually capturing like what the general consensus would say. You know what? That's pretty fucking on point.
So when you did watch the movies, we were like, that's almost
good.
spot on to what I was thinking.
Exactly. Okay. That's how you know those movies are fucking good. But that's also
the same reaction I got from those people that watched The Lord of the Rings after that girl who watched The Lord of the Rings afterwards. She's like, oh, I love how they put that part in and did it like that. I'm like,
yeah.
So they did, but we all have to admit, everybody, those movies were probably one of the best done franchises in the planet. The costumes, the fucking everything was, they worked hard on that shit. Viggo Mortensen, that motherfucker was really arrogant in real life. This motherfucker carried this sword and everything with him.
Don't even honestly. As corny as Harry Potter is, Daniel Radcliffe was fucking Harry Potter. That's why
they did the perfect casting.
That's why it's so hard for him to get roles after, because do you know what it means to be like that seriously set to like imagine Robert Downey. Some people are just born for their fucking role. Like Iron Man. That guy was born to be Iron Man. Like no ifs. He was a better Iron Man than Chris Evans was Captain America. Robert Downey Jr. was fucking Tony Stark to a T.
Do you think anyone could have been Gandalf but Ian McKellen? No. Like, it I don't need to read the book at that point. The movie was so good. I did read the book, but like, it sporadically, it's fucking hard as fuck. They stop like every like couple pages to eat in that fucking book.
Yeah.
It's not really that action packed. It's very like, and then they stopped and they found this and they ate this.
Well, also like some movies
keep going. There's fucking ring raids.
I've also, and here's the thing: if it depends on a certain genre. If you read a certain genre of books, you're going to experience this a lot in a certain context where there was like certain trends in movies where they would take. There was a point like early 2000s to now to like mid 2000s because it really fell out of favor after one movie series like just killed the game. But it was young adult novels, and by young adult novels I mean like fucking like Alex Rider books or the Hunger Games series. It's like those books that weren't quite good like Harry Potter level like epic good or like a saga, but they were still like popular enough amongst teenagers where they would make a stupid
Animorphs.
And some of it was, well, all right, here's the thing. Some of it was really, really good. Some of it was really, really bad. Animorphs was really, really good. But something like Aragon, really, really bad. Hunger Games, I assume wasn't bad. I didn't read Hunger Games, right? I never read that shit. But I saw the movies and I was like, this could be entertaining, you know, if I was like a little younger maybe. Another one was Twilight. Twilight was fucking huge. And those movies are steaming piles of garbage. But the books are probably pretty trash too, you know?
It's like, I guess it makes, it's like I have all these movies about the male fantasy. This is like one of those things about the female fantasy.
Obviously. But you know where Twilight came from?
Two dudes fucking that are like perfect for you, fighting over you all the time. The one guy's super like buff and masculine. The other guy's like really romantic and like vampire and mysterious. And you're like this girl that everyone just fucking wants. It just made me sick.
Did you ever remember 50 Shades of Grey?
It's almost like that manic pixie,
Do you remember?
girl
I know.
bullshit.
Do you remember 50 Shades of Grey?
I never got into that.
You heard of it,
I've
right?
heard of it. Yes,
Okay.
I know what it entails.
So in 50 Shades of Grey, it was originally a book, right? And then it became a movie. Some super fan of that book and movie wrote a fan fiction and replaced the characters with like a vampire and shit, right? And that was the basis for Twilight. So Twilight, the book, was literally based off of a fan fiction of another series.
50 Shades of Grey came out before that?
Yes.
Oh.
And then I think
I only heard the Gilbert Gottfried reading of it.
Yeah.
Just little bits and pieces that they had there. I thought it was funny though.
Let's see. Another thing that I consider done really well, you know, like book adaptations to movies would be I don't know. People are probably not into Tom Clancy stuff, but I fucking love Tom Clancy stuff. I'm super into
Like
it.
the video games?
Well, I used to read the books because, like, when I was young, like all the
I
adult.
didn't even know there was books.
Yeah, you know, they were phenomenal books, but it's military fiction. You know, it's like it's high stakes. Like, yo, if this guy fucks up, it's not like action sequences. It's more
a
like
nuclear explosion in fucking Atlanta.
Yeah. And what's interesting is because you imagine every day it's like that. Like every day we're this close to like but if it wasn't for some like super.
It's kind of like Metal Gear.
Yeah.
It's like so hidden.
Well, you know what's
It's like,
hilarious?
but if you don't do this, like you're one dude we have to throw in here with no fucking equipment because there's no way of getting it through.
Yo, people have accused Hideo Kojima of ripping off of Tom Clancy, and he kind of does in a lot of ways.
Metal Gear was first.
No. Do you know
Before the Tom Clancy video games?
No, I'm talking about the Tom Clancy source material, the books. Those are.
Yeah, but he was the first to make those stealth espionage video games. There's never going to be a video game like Metal Gear.
No.
My
I'm talking
fucking
about narratively. Like video games, yeah, that's one thing. You know what? That was even what the criticism was about. Hideo Kojima is a really brilliant video game maker, but he's not a writer. Like if you look at,
that writing is amazing.
Yes, we love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I hate it. I love it. I love it more than most things in the world. But I will say, with like objectively speaking, when you look at like writing chops compared to like other works out there, like Metal Gear Solid, the novel, the book would be retarded. Like let's admit it, it would be fucking stupid. I would not sit through. That's not a page turner to me. That'll be like, what is this garbage? But as a video game, it's phenomenal. That story could only be told as a video game. That's why Hideo Kojima is a video game maker, not a writer. So that's what the article was like accusing.
It wouldn't be interesting if it was a book.
No,
I mean,
no, it would be stupid as fuck.
I'm really interested in Assassin's Creed, but I play every single game. But I'm on these groups, and they're like, "You got to read the books." I'm like, I don't think I'd actually care if I wasn't playing it.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, Assassin's Creed is not like Metal Gear. Because Metal Gear Solid, like, what people have to realize is that, yes, there's a very dense, complex, sprawling, heartfelt storyline. Like, it was clearly made with a lot of sincerity. But that kind of story is not straight up, like, playing off of, like, traditional, like, act format, like, with acts and scenes. I mean, yes, it does follow it loosely. But the thing about that, like, that narrative, the way it plays out, it's so tied to knowing it's a video game. It's like that whole story knows that it's in a video game. You know what I mean? Like if you really listen to the dialogue, he's like, Snake, if you want to crawl through that space, press the crouch button.
I like how it breaks that fourth wall up.
But that's what I'm saying. It's because it's written like that. You know, first and foremost, this is not written as anything but a video game. So that's why Metal Gear Solid would make a fucking stupid book. Even though, like, you know, like, trust me, I've read video game books that were good. Like Halo books are fucking good.
You just leave those parts out, though. You wouldn't be like, press X to crawl, you know, in the book.
What do you mean? You're not speaking into the mic, by the way.
I mean, like, if you wrote a book, it wouldn't be like, even in Assassin's Creed games, like, hold A and go to dodge, and I'm like, that wouldn't be in the book though. It wouldn't be in the movie. It's just in the video game. It's just like mini tutorial kind of. They wouldn't say that in the book. It would just be a story.
No, but
about these characters.
But exactly. So when you take away all moments like that, all those breaking the fourth wall moments, all those little gimmicky video game only moments, and
it wouldn't be interesting.
It would be
without that
stupid.
gimmicky, yeah.
It would be fucking stupid, dude. It just wouldn't work. It would not
You're
be
right,
a good
you're right,
book.
okay.
It would be a terrible fucking book. Hideo Kojima is not a writer. So which is why, like, if you really took his writing, just the essence of his writing, and took away all the crazy video game aspects, what do you get? You get a stupid fucking Tom Clancy story and a watered down Tom Clancy story. So so the criticism wasn't saying like Hideo Kojima makes bad video games or whatever, or the video game was a ripoff of Tom Clancy. It's the writing elements, the narrative elements, the plot beats. It's literally like you said, like how I was talking about Tom Clancy.
No, but the ending of Metal Gear 2, when that shit goes like the you realize the fucking, general's a fucking like android robot thing, and it's like it starts glitching out and shit. That would still work in a movie, I think, a little bit.
No, that's not what happened. What happened was,
but they also do say turn off the game. Turn off the game. I swear to God, me and my friend, we turned the game off.
I know you fell for it. If you looked at it now, I hope you know that would be really stupid.
Well, time has passed,
Yeah.
But at the time, that was fucking crazy fucking shit. When you walked around naked.
I'm just saying that didn't really age well. Okay, that moment didn't age well at all.
It was good when it happened, though.
Whatever. So many things are like that. But
we thought we were tripping. We were like, nah. Like, what did we smoke? Like it was fucking crazy. Like it was regs, and we were just like, what the fuck?
Nah, you fell for it.
We smoked some seeds with those regs, and we were just like, did we smoke some crazy shit? Like, what's happening to us? Like, video games were like evolved in my generation so much. Even now, like, I'm playing like Assassin's Creed from years ago, and I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. This is fucking amazing how they do this shit. Like, it's like looking at a piece of art to me.
You know what's interesting? Like, if you're just getting to grips with like current gen or like sort of current gen,
I'm playing current gen
with AI. Wait till you see where this goes in less than a year. It's gonna get fucking nuts, man. Like really crazy.
But I need to have a life too.
What?
It's gonna really put a damper on me trying to have a life. Having all these new video games where I could live another fucking life, It is appealing. It really is.
Yeah.
Like I'm a cook. I have to go to work.
To me,
but when I go home, I can play a video game and be like, I'm Ezio Auditore.
Well, you know what it is,
Assassino.
like, yeah, like those. Those video games are great, but maybe it's like it's gotten to the point where I feel like life is like the ultimate game like that. Like to me, it's like my life just reflects. It's like those video games are just reflecting my life. It's not
that's the crazy thing because they like. I'm like, I have diabetes. I'm like, and I recently started playing Skyrim on survival mode.
Yeah.
And you always have to check like what your fucking hydration level is and I'm like, that feels like my life. Like, just like you can see me now, everybody. I tested my blood sugar twice while we were here. At least took my shot twice. And I'm like, I always have to think about this. Even though like only an hour or so has passed in my life, I have to check this.
Well, here's the
make
thing.
Sure this is.
Here's
it's like
a beautiful
playing a video game on fucking survival mode.
I heard a way. It works the other way around too, right? So the reason why video games are such a beautiful art form is because they allow you to live a reality that wouldn't be available to you otherwise. For example, not everyone in the world can be an astronaut or a space marine or a robot or a samurai or a fucking, or all these fantastical things or go on fantastical adventures because we need people in this world to do shitty jobs like take out the trash and cook our food and make fast food. And, so that's why video games are like so beloved because, like our world was those fantastical lives will not be available to everyone in the world. And for those people, there's video games to like kind of give you a glimpse of what that would be like and make you feel it. That's why it's such a beautiful and bittersweet like.
Well, also, I don't want to actually kill anyone in real life, but in video
there you
games,
go.
it feels pretty fucking
that's
good.
Another good thing. It's like yeah. You get to
like I don't want to deal with the guilt, but but then nowadays like Red Dead Redemption 2. If I beat the shit out of somebody and killed them, I actually like kind of almost like Well, like I felt bad. Like if I killed a dog in the game by accident, I had to restart.
Well, you want to know? You want to hear something
Dude,
very?
it was so realistic.
You want to hear something very interesting?
Even though it's not that realistic.
I know. Listen, just listen. Let's say like in the future, video games, right? In the very near future, in the next like few months, all the NPCs are going to be like AI language based on AI language model coded. So they're all going to basically be like always going to have different responses for you when you talk to it and stuff like that, right? Let's say you have your friend, you see your friend.
So you can't expect the dialogue options.
What do you mean?
Well, would you still have dialogue options?
You wouldn't
like
need it. You would
Speechcraft?
you would speak into it and then it would talk back.
But wouldn't they be like speech checks and shit like that, like an RPG?
No.
So where like if you say the wrong thing, you don't get it. If you say the right thing, you can. But if you don't say the right thing, you can always fight your way through. Like there should be options.
No, that's limited. I'm saying it's going to be so intuitive. It's going to have infinite more possibilities than what you just described. You know, especially if every NPC in the game is like that. So imagine it's like what you're thinking is still such
But
a
they
limited
still have
form.
to have a personality and disposition, just like any human would. So you'd be able to read them over time.
Maybe whatever. The point
say
being,
the right
look,
things,
that's
right?
that's my point is. Imagine if you saw your friend playing that game, right? Like, and you see him like abusing in that game, like abusing that character, knowing that like what that person's computing is capable of. Like, you know what? If I saw that and it was my friend, like we could debate for hours on whether or not like the ethical basis behind, you know, the ethical boundaries of like what they're doing and whether it's right or wrong. But I would still feel differently about them. You know, like if you see, like if we were talking about such an advanced kind of game space where the artificial assets are actually like close to sentient beings, and whether or not we could argue like, you know, it's wrong to like treat them or abuse them. If I see someone abusing them, I would think less of them. It would make me feel a type of way, because I would be like, you know, we're not even really sure how to treat these things, and you're already out here like trying to like destroy it and fuck it up, and like I think that's fucked up. I disagree with that, because there's this whole ethical debate behind AI. It's like right now the powers that be are saying no, we cannot treat them as living, breathing things. We cannot treat them as like an actual life form. They are tools. We can never, ever, ever. It's important that the people who are making this are telling us, do not ever, no matter how advanced it gets, do not ever treat them on the same level as us. But I think that's such a weak fucking barrier that's not going to hold. Eventually, these things are going to get smarter, and people are just going to keep.
They're not sentient. We might not know that. But
Yeah, like you don't know that, you know, like.
Well, where does sentience come in then? We don't know that.
Exactly.
We can never know
Exactly. So it's like we're creating this thing, and without even fully defining our own
that. That
consciousness.
if something is so competent to receive like mental signals that they develop a consciousness and that they have a soul. Like, I'm sorry to say the word soul, but it does make sense.
On top
In
of that,
human context,
look.
We know there's something beyond our
Besides that,
brains, right?
isn't it spooky that they could already teach themselves? Like, if you give them an
Yes,
input.
because we program them that way.
Exactly.
They're just like a washing machine. That
But then what's the difference between that and a fucking infant? Something that just like
So
takes
your
it.
washing machine has feelings too. Like
No,
listen,
no.
I
dude.
also have
Brendan,
mental
it's not
problems,
a fucking,
and I think
no, Brendan,
appliances have
no,
feelings.
shut up. It's not a washing machine,
Fuck
right?
you.
Because you're not letting me finish. It's not a washing machine. Like you're fucking, you got something that, let's say you have a device that just, you put in ingredients and it cooks it for you, right? So you put in ingredients, you tell it, make me a curry sandwich or whatever, and it makes you a curry sandwich, but it fucks it up, right? So you tell it, you fucked it up. It's too burnt over here, and the meat, I like the meat like this. Make it better next time. And it says, okay. So the next time you don't do anything different. All you do is just put the same ingredients in and it makes it better. And then you're like, you know what? This is a lot better than last time, right? I want you to like do it this way and like fucking, you know, fix it. So it's not like this without even like knowing how to cook. You're just telling it to like make it better. And you put
the program.
and then, all right, fine. So imagine that for problem solving, right? Not just making sandwiches, but for solving any problem you give it. That's the input. Like you give it math problems, you give it ethical issues, you give it law problems. You know what I think? I think what's going to happen is there's going to make an AI for law, AI for health, AI for business, and whoever could like utilize all of those most
they're
effectively.
still tools.
Yeah.
To think that they are sentient, I think it's a little overboard.
Okay,
they
but-
might, even if it's so artificially intelligent that it can be like, I have feelings, please don't hurt me. There's actually no living being behind those words that is feeling anything. They're just saying they're feeling, right? They wouldn't actually be sentient. They can be like, I really don't want to die, But there's no fear of death because there's no human being. There's no fucking soul. There's no creature or animal behind that physical metallic form that actually is feeling what they're saying they're feeling.
Okay, so then why? You think your organs and your physical body makes your emotions and your feelings special? You think that can't happen in any other format
All you
of
can
material?
really know is that I don't know, like really, like you don't know if I'm real, and I don't know if you're real.
All right,
In
but that's
reality,
like, but then
we're going. We're going. a
okay,
little
fine.
far,
If you want to,
Yes.
no,
But
no. I'm saying if you want to go on that tangent,
That's where
fine.
I'm
I'm
getting my
game.
logic
But I'm
from.
saying, fine. Take that tangent. But that's just like furthering your argument of like, then you don't know if these machines are any more like actually
yes,
sentient.
because we also can't all know if a any type of physical form can just. We don't actually. Everything could be alive. Actually, there's a lot of religions and a lot of spirituality that everything's alive. Every piece of plastic, every blade of grass has a feeling, and that might be actually mostly true because trees communicate with each other, and when we cut down a tree, it sends electromagnetic signals to all the other trees like it's screaming. We can actually kind of measure these things.
Okay,
now.
what if there was like what if there was
everything might be fucking alive, and that freaks me the fuck out because I don't even want to fucking turn fucking throw out a stuffed animal because what if that fucking thing
all right,
is
now
fucking
you're just like
crying
now
now
you're
and
kind of just
dying?
talking retarded, man.
That's not
It's,
retarded.
it's going off on such like a abstract tangent
You're
that
right.
you could say about
but
anything.
this is what my brain does, though.
Whatever. Look, here, let me give you a scenario, right?
I draw the logic from the abstract.
Let me give you a
taken from the
scenario.
out.
Let me give you a scenario. What if we just had a language model algorithm, right? You just after taking input output of problem solving, eventually came up with a problem where the only solution I could think of is all these like all the hardware that I'm directly connected to and can give commands to. I'm going to use this biological printer to print out a human body, and with it, I'm going to upload. It's like basically a bio machine. I'm going to make a cyborg, but instead of like made of gears and metal and like wiring, I'm just going to make it made out of meat, and then I'm going to program it, and I'm going to just release it into the
But
wild.
how could you ever know that it's really feeling?
What do you mean? If it has a meat brain just like us, if it has organs like us, if it produces hormones like us, then and nerves and muscles and tissue.
If you had, let's say, if you had a fucking Furby, and the Furby was just like, I feel love, would you believe that Furby understood, like, had an actual consciousness, or was it just somewhere in the fucking algorithm that it just decided to say, I feel love?
First of all, a Furby would never do that.
Yes, but that's the beginning of AI.
What?
Yes, it is.
What are you talking about?
Furbies. Fucking Furbies. They had a small amount of, they can
All right,
learn
Frenzy.
words. If you said something enough around them, that is a really minuscule little microcosm
All
of
right,
what
man.
we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Furbies just went off of motion sensors because it had a little
Yes,
like.
but AI is just going off of whatever programming we fucking put into it.
Well,
So how do we know what a living being really fucking is? Because also as humans, we think fucking pigs and shit, which aren't that below us, don't deserve fucking respect, and we fucking, I understand killing animals. I don't care about murder. Murder's a natural part of life, but
Whoa.
if you're fucking hanging a fucking screaming being and grabbing its nuts and fucking slicing them off with a fucking machete as it's screaming, and you're okay with that, doing it 1,000 times a day, you're a fucking psychopath. And that is definitely a living, fucking conscious fucking
Well,
being.
who says that's natural? What if it's not supposed? What if what we're really supposed to do is go out into the wild with a bow and arrow with our buds and say, if we want to eat meat tonight, we got to like get this right, track it correctly.
Yeah, that's
find it.
natural.
Yeah.
Murder's natural, but not torture and not the way we fucking
Well,
did it.
what's unnatural that we do is factory farming, where we just
Yeah,
like mass
it's
produce
not-
like these animals. Yeah.
We shouldn't. And it's also fucking killing us, too.
But
actually,
you know
when
what?
it's supposed to
But think
happen.
about it this way: nature made it so easy to do. It's kind of scary. It was almost like a mechanical blueprint for us to be given these kinds of like
Would
critters.
you want to exploit? You want to cheat? Here's the fucking mod for that.
No, it's like this. It's almost like we're given the tools to build something that we haven't gotten to building yet by like some ancient Promethean species. They're like, here, all right, you fucking apes, we're going to plant a little seed in you, and it's going to take a millennia for this to actually manifest, and we're going to like your world is just populated enough with the right organisms, the right
So
creatures
do
for
you
you to.
think some otherworldly beings came here, gave us some information that we weren't fucking ready for yet, and we started using it, but we still have the monkey brains, so we're fucking like, it's like if we gave like access to nuclear bombs to fucking chimps.
Well, it could be.
And they'd be like, and they'd be fucking like go fucking ape shit.
Well, it could be they just like made us just to like harvest gold for their fucking spaceships.
Yeah,
and shit,
maybe.
interdimensional spaceships.
We don't know. We don't know.
The
We don't know
Anunnaki.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
All right, wait. That leads. All right. Anyway, before we go off the rails, so let's go to the third thing that.
Wow, we're only on 3. Shit, guys.
Wait, did I just say 3 or nah? We only said 2. People like to say the N word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
We just went off.
So the third one. All right. So the third thing that I wish I knew before I started podcasting is it's not as easy as people suggest it is. Like I came into this after hearing from so many people. It's like, yeah, podcasting is the easiest fucking thing. Anyone could do it. Podcasting is so fucking easy. Oh my god. Just go. Why do you have to do it like now of all times? It's like the worst. It's like the worst fucking time too. Like, just hurry up, man. Just get your shit. Come on, hustle, buddy. Let's move. You fucking grab. You should have just had it all on the table anyway, like I did. Like I had. So it's Jesus Christ. You're such a woman. God damn it. Come on.
Misogyny.
No, seriously. It's, you know what this is equivalent to? It's like we're trying to play a video game, and then like at the worst possible moment, you're like, wait, I gotta pause the game. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, you fucked me up. Like, you fucked up my fucking thing. And now when you unpause it, I'm gonna die. Thanks a lot, you dick. And then we just unpause, and I just died. Now I have to reset it. Anyway, so podcasting. It's not as easy as people think, or it's not as easy as people say. God, I'm so pissed because you fucking just dipped on that. Like, anyway. It's not as easy as people suggested to me it was, because I came into this thinking, you know what, this is going to be mad easy to do, but it turns out it fucking wasn't. Just like wrangling up retards like Brendan here, all right, just to show up is like, it's difficult, right? And to get him to stand still enough for like an hour.
Goofball.
Right, whatever.
That's a correct PC term now.
Anyway, you motherfuckers who suggested to me that podcasting was going to be that easy, it wasn't that fucking easy. But you know what? I still fucking did it. So I'm not bitching. I'm just saying you better fucking recognize that I'm still here, all right? Despite the fucking setbacks. And yeah, also, I would say that...
Because of me.
You do know you're not the only host here, right?
I fucking know you fucking...
You don't show up. You don't show up. You don't show up
up
enough. Stop trying to fuck around, man. You don't show up enough for that, to be able to talk shit like that. Anyway, what I meant to say is that you also have to learn like a lot of the technical elements behind it, and I got lucky. Like even despite getting hit by setback, like the only saving grace I had was the fact that I made music and recorded music and produced music. So I knew sound, like I knew how to mix, I knew how to master. And that's why this shit was kind of like second nature to me, because it's a fucking podcast. The only new thing that I had to learn was video.
I don't know
editing.
any of this shit, so yeah.
Was video editing. Yeah, you're just a guy.
Hey.
What?
I'm a good guy though.
Yeah, but you know, it'd help if you learn this shit, but nah, you're afraid of technology.
I'm not really. I feel like everyone's good for something. I'm not good for technology. I'm not good for it.
Yeah. Everyone's got their load out. I'd say you're better for I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I can't rely on you for jack shit, but I could always trust you no matter what. Like, I could trust you with like literally my life. You know?
Probably.
I may not be able to rely on you get a job right in the first try, but
too much of a conscience.
Mhm.
It just.
But I could definitely trust you.
I didn't always though. I really didn't always. It developed. I think those 12 steps actually helped.
Yeah, welcome to being Catholic, man. That's what it feels like to live with the Catholic guilt.
No, it's not a Catholic guilt.
Yes, it's a lot like it.
It's like shadow work by Carl Jung. It's good. It's good to do sometimes.
Maybe.
I think so.
Just don't repress anything. I guess that's the point.
Yeah,
I think that to me is
continue smoking pot and drinking afterwards.
That to me is the real point of shadow work, is just telling you don't repress anything. Because shadow work isn't isolating like certain qualities and saying those are bad qualities, those are your shadow qualities. What it's saying is whatever you are, the opposite is your shadow pretty much. And you repress that by trying to be nice, trying to be mean, trying to be selfish, trying to be selfless. You know, it's like whatever you try to be.
You'll go from one side to the other, you'll be super nice and you'll be a super fucking cunt to everyone. And they'll be I've done that a bunch of times.
Yeah. So you know what?
Especially in like relationships. If like somebody, like if I was in a relationship with somebody for a while and they fucked me over, the next one I get into, no matter how nice they were, I was like a fucking cunt to them.
So
like,
do you
fuck
know,
you fucking like
you're
not gonna fucking.
Do you know what makes shadow work a lot easier?
It's kind of immature though.
What makes shadow work a lot easier is when you have something to work towards that's bigger than you, that's more important than you. You know, like being a part of something bigger than you will make you want to get better no matter how you fucking feel about it. So like, you know, for example, if I'm going to the sword class all the time and I'm responsible for other people, and you know, we're doing something relatively dangerous, and like, you know, there's people that also expect me to like, you know, follow like certain safety precautions and do things right. You know, if there's that, then I'm going to have to like, I'm going to have to learn to like eventually like just repress parts about it, and like, but also kind of like be honest and open about it and be willing to grow if I'm fucking up. You know, if I see myself making mistakes, then I got to say like, all right, what part of am I repressing that's like forcing me to like fuck up?
Great if most fucking managers and shit thought like that, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Instead of thinking, why is all the staff a bunch of cunts? Oh, maybe I'm the cunt.
Well, I mean,
like
look.
The three asshole
see,
rule.
here's the thing: in martial arts, like, yeah, there's seniority, but the thing is, none of us are there because we're paid to be there. None of us are there because we make a living off of that going there. We're there because we choose to be, because we see the value
You're
in
paid to be there.
We're there and do all this work there because we see the value in what's being given to us in return. You know, like in return of all the money and the time and the energy we're giving, you see the growth within you, and that's eventually the trade-off. So like, that's, I guess, that's an example. For other people, it could be like having kids. You know, neither of us have kids, so we don't know what that's like. But I'm assuming once you have kids, your life, you don't just stop giving a fuck about yourself at all. You're like, everything I do is for my kids now. Everything. Because that really does become the most important thing, right? Like, what else is there at that point? You're like, your life is over after you have your kid. Like, you don't need to think about yourself anymore, you know?
I guess so. I don't know. I think there's people out there who raise their kids still, but I think you have to be like super filthy fucking rich to do that.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
I've recently been watching like Jack Black videos because he did that new Peach song, and he's been so active, and he's fun. Jack Black is fun to watch no matter what. I don't care who you are.
You know who I think is a really good family man?
But he has his kids into shit everywhere, and he tries to bring them on the thing, and they're like, leave me alone. Like,
all right. Before you get to that next thought, do you know who else I think is a good family man?
Who?
Think about it. Adam Sandler.
He does. How much does he do now, though? How much does he actually like do?
He makes movies all the time, but they're always hated. Critics always shit on every single one of his movies.
Because he's trying to do more serious stuff.
No, even all right, the serious stuff people like usually, but every movie that he makes produces himself from like that gets released on like Netflix or some shit. Everyone hates it. They're like, this is garbage, and yet he still keeps making them.
Because at this point he probably has so much money he doesn't give a fuck.
Also, like if you look, you know what's he never says
has enough movies that we all love.
Look, I'm not saying
it doesn't. He can just fuck around and find
yeah, you're
out
right.
now.
He does have a lot of good movies.
Once you're that rich, you can just fuck around.
Yeah.
He can just throw money. Oh, this fails. Ooh, I lost a little bit.
Also,
you know, it's not a big deal.
But if you dug deeper,
you're not like George Lucas putting everything in his life. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna die on the streets. You know, it's not like I can throw $1 million here and just try to make a movie, and if nobody likes it, like, okay, it's not a big deal. I can I'll try again next year. Maybe it'll be better. I'm just like, they're actually like getting to actually explore their art, where people who are poor, they have to exploit their own art. It's fucking sick how capitalism makes art into a fucking like a money making commodity. I fucking hate that.
But
I hate that every time instead of just fucking around and making something, trying to like put something out into the world that you feel. Now you're thinking, what will other people think? Will they pay for this?
All right, but anyway, back to Adam Sandler, right?
Okay.
I think like if you dig deeper into the things he says in his public appearances, right? Every time he speaks publicly, he's always like, "I love my family," you know, or it's like every time he wins anything close to an award or a Raspberry Award or something. Either way, it's always like, fucking, like, I love my family. I'm just, even before he had kids, like when he was an up and coming like performer, he would always say like, I just want to thank my dad. I love my dad. I you know, like he's everything. And then after his dad passed away, like it hit him really hard, made him sad. He did a really sad role. I think it was Click or some shit. But then like
I remember that.
But then afterwards, he had kids, and then every time he would just be like, "I love my kids. I just love spending time with my kids. I love spending time with my family. That's just what I love to do." It's like they always ask him, "It's like, what do you like to do on your spare time?" But then he lucked out with like certain movies, like key movies, like Uncut Gems, which was recent, you know.
I really, I've like dipped my foot in the water with those, but like I haven't really like.
They're fucking good. Like Punch Drunk Love was also a really good movie.
I guess I'm really picky.
Okay. Yeah, no, fucking. I think like what keeps him going. It's like you said, like you think anyone can just like.
Well, you also I had
Look. I'm just saying. You think like anyone with money can just like, if they want to, they could just make their art. But what you're not understanding, that I'm trying to portray, is how harsh the critics are. And we are talking about like people who make or break careers in this industry. You know, like people who could like, if you put your life into acting, and this one critic, like a very important critic, says your movie is garbage, and everyone thinks your movie is garbage, and the whole critic circle thinks it's garbage, no one's gonna want to work with you again. And that's what happens to Adam Sandler every single fucking time, and yet he keeps fucking coming back. No one else is that resilient with the kind of shit like that. Some serious people.
He has the money to do that though. Plus, he also does like I watched a show where he was on tour, and he would do like a mix of like comedy and sketches and like music, and he like he's a decent guitarist, you know.
Yeah.
And he plays songs. He had a song about Chris Farley and shit. It was a fucking cool thing. And he like, you know, people would like give him shots from like on top of the stage. You take the shot with them and shit. Like he like did. You know, he went on tour and you know, he does things too. Yeah. You know, if you know, like if you just heard in your town that Adam Sandler's gonna do a fucking thing and it's like $30 or some shit, you might do it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, fuck it, let's go see Adam Sandler. Like,
I really like Big Daddy. That was a good fucking movie.
Oh, yeah, that was a fucking amazing movie.
Hells yeah.
I also noticed that there is a lot of what you would say, like, it's transphobia in a lot of old Adam Sandler movies. Like, in Anger Management, it's the trans dude, or trans person who goes into the cab because you know, Jack Nicholson character, you know, tried to like get him out of his shell. It's like, I come from a place called Lickensy Dickens. He's like, I come from a place called Women Without Penisesville. You know, like, and I'm like, nowadays if you saw that shit in the movie, you'd be like, yee, yikes. And there was other things too, like there was like The Wedding Singer, definitely a trans person on the stage. You know, do you really want to hurt me? Yeah. And like they like kind of like, it was like a humor thing. It wasn't like they didn't take it seriously. It was like a, you know, like, look at this freak. Like, it's blatant in the movie. And like now, if you watch that now, you'd be like, that's fucking transphobic as fuck.
Yeah, even Big Daddy, they had
they're making like Big Daddy and
had
also
the gay couple.
And then also the Wedding Singer, I'm saying. Like
that's a good eye, Brendan. You're right.
Like,
Adam Sandler.
And I've noticed in many Adam Sandler movies, like, thinking about if I was, like, really super PC now, I'd be like, are you fucking serious? Like, that would get canceled right the fuck away.
You're right. You're
like,
right.
A lot of his movies, and he makes fun of retarded people. Like, actually, I'm saying retarded. I can't even say retarded right now, actually. Mentally ill people. And when he's talking about, even in Anger Management, when he's... John C. Reilly is playing the monk who was the bully. Yeah. But he talked about his sister that was mentally ill in some way, and he told her that she had ghosts in her pants, so she'd take her pants. Instead of retarded, and fuck her, and she screamed like a wildebeest, and then Jack Nicholson's like a wildebeest, and then he fucking flips out as a monk and like tries to attack him and shit. He like breaks his whole religious code.
Oh man.
And that's a part of it too. So he's talking about fucking taking advantage of retarded people. You know?
Okay.
So a lot of his movies are fucked up.
Right.
I'm trying to think if they're like, I love Billy Madison, but I'm trying to think now, is there anything like homophobic or transphobic in Billy Madison now? Like,
well, Billy Madison, he was the retard, wasn't he?
He wasn't like clinically, you know, mentally ill. No.
He was just retarded.
No, he was just a privileged white boy
He was
who
just
his dad
stupid as
owned a big company, and he
dumb
just
as
got
fuck.
fucking drunk and stoned in his pool all day and like had hallucinations. That was it. He was just a fucking. He didn't give a shit. That was the basis of the movie, and then he had to go to school because get the.
Like a fucking idiot.
Before we had memes, we just screened Billy Madison quotes and shit.
Oh, so that was Little Nicky before I, before I
Is there
forget.
any trans homophobia in that one
I don't know. There's always
that would be recognized today?
I don't know. There's always some shit in all of his movies. Yo, did you see Eight Crazy Nights?
No, it was a cartoon, so I didn't want to see it. I don't really care for
bitch.
like an actor I like to doing a cartoon. I don't care for it.
You're so close-minded, man.
I'm not close-minded. I
Yeah,
have
you are.
preferences.
You are pretty close-minded.
No, because I check things out, and then I'm like, nah, not my thing. And I'll do some gay shit. I guess I'm not gay. 'Cause
I think you
didn't feel
check.
anything
I think
from
you
that,
check
so
things
I'll
out.
check things out.
I think you check things out, but it's always like surface level shit. It's never like it's always like a surface level
It's like
assessment.
dipping your foot in the water.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's not checking it out. That's dipping your foot in the water.
So instead of just like making out with the dude, I should just like let him fuck me in the ass and see if I'm gay.
No, first of all, what you should do is what made you so what put you in a state to want you to like compel you to do that in the first place. You should explore deeper into
Because
that.
I want to know.
Why?
I'm curious. Curiosity killed the cat, and I fucked up a lot in my life. I did a lot of fucking drugs, and I've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just because I want to know.
You have a self-destructive tendency.
No, it's not even that. I don't want to die. I also like.
I didn't say suicidal. I said self-destructive.
I also like think about.
You know what?
I think about
Self-destructive isn't
torture
always
a
about
lot.
dying. Self-destruction could always be a safety
Listen, I think
coping
about
mechanism.
torture a lot, and it upsets in me so much that I want to cry that people can do that to each other. But also, that whenever I hear about a new type of torture, I want to be like, but what does it feel like? Like, how bad is it? And like, I don't want to feel that. I don't
Oh.
want to feel like it's like to be burned alive. I'm pretty sure it's probably fucking up there in fucking unbelievable torment. But somewhere deep down, I want to be like, but I want to know though, like, how bad does that feel? It's weird. It's a weird fucking feeling because I don't want to feel that ever. But that the fact that it exists makes me want to know what it feels like. Just like drugs, crack is probably horrible, right? But I want to know, like people are doing it, right? People did heroin.
What I think is like
this and that. People take ecstasy. People take Molly. People smoked weed. Everything. You want okay? It might be bad. They told me it was bad, but I have to it exists. I have to know. You know what it's like, even if it's just like checking it out. I have to dip my foot in it. I don't know. I don't want to get burned alive though,
I don't know,
or
man.
drowned. Like, I'm pretty sure it fucking sucks.
I feel like there's some
but
serious.
deep down, I want to.
There's some
that.
serious fucking like retarded element of your thought process
That's
here.
why
That I
it's
gotta
a
like. I need it.
retarded element.
It's stupid. It's fucking dumb as fuck. There's something wrong with like your judgment like engine. Like it's just broken in some way where you're just like, where it's like you're so curious about the dumbest shit. Like I just need to know about crack, and then meanwhile like you're not even curious. Like I prefer things like I want to know what it's like to drive. Like
if I don't,
want to know what it's like.
I'm gonna lose my fucking.
I want to
mind.
know what it's like to drive like a Porsche, you know? Like I want to know what it's like to fucking ride a motorcycle down like really
Me
fast on the
too.
interstate. Yeah, but why are you so focused on like why was that the first thing you decided to talk about? Like crack
I'm just
and
saying.
shit.
I just said the most outrageous.
Or getting
thing
burned out
I can think of.
I could think of more outrageous shit that's not so self-destructive. I think you have a self-destructive tendency.
I do not want to self-destruct now.
Look,
no.
I'm not saying why? Why are you denying it? Can you just hear me out? It's a lot. The reason why a lot of people have a self-destructive tendency is it's a coping mechanism. Here's the reason. Because more often than not, if you think about where our attention lies in people in our lives, like let's say you had two friends. One friend was like, you called him up. He was like, oh, what's up? Yeah, I'm doing all right. Cool. You? Yeah, cool. And then you have another friend, you call him up and he's like, I don't know, man. My life is falling apart. Everything's going terrible. I'm basically burning alive, man. So that's how my life is going. Who are you going to think about more? Honestly. Who's going to occupy your mental space more at that point between those two friends after those two phone calls? Seriously, think about
I'm sorry, I lost concentration.
You know what? Forget it. Let's drop it. Anyway, moving on to the fucking fourth thing.
I really did. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's
all
I don't even know
recorded.
where I was thinking about something.
It's all recorded, man. Don't worry about it. All right, actually, you know what? Let me finish this thought. I'm just saying self-destructive tendencies can just be a coping mechanism, basically because you get more attention once you self-destruct.
No, it's not an attention seeking. I don't feel like
You don't think you're attention
Oh
seeking?
no, you're in some ways, but not in that way.
All right.
I don't want to see. Like, I don't want people to. I don't want attention from being depressed. Like, I don't like horny posts or depressed posts. I don't like that shit. Whenever I see any of my friends horny posting or depressed posting or lonely posting, I'm like, oh, you fucking. Oh, I don't want to say the F word right now, but fuck. You know. I'm just like
whatever, man.
Just like you want just sit in your room alone in the dark for 48 hours or something. Fucking deal with it. Do something else. Like isolate. Fucking isolate or something. Don't think like I'm fucking horny. Like, yeah, we get it. You've been horny for the last fucking 6 months. Well, like this is not helping your case. This is making it worse. Or like depressed posting. I'm so fucking depressed. All the depressing things. I'm like, what have you done? Like, dude,
okay,
you can call me, man.
I'm just saying, an appealing part of self-destructive tendencies is that it does garner you attention, no matter what you do. That's why a lot of people do it. They may not know that.
I don't think I've ever really done it, even subconsciously.
I think it's
attention.
such a common thing that we've all done it. It's just some people do it to varying degrees.
I don't really, truly. I've really done some deep, feelings. I don't think I've ever done it for that specific reason. I don't think I've ever done anything self-destructive to get attention. No, that's a lie. I've done maybe little.
There you go. Come on, man.
But like,
we've all been teenagers, dude. Like, what are you, stupid? Like, are you fucking lying to my face? Or are you just gonna give me a bold-faced lie?
About like being a little kid and shit and doing shit. Like,
no, see, then you think of the totality of your human experiences. Yep, I've definitely done that. If you haven't done that, if you haven't done that, then you would never know what it's like. So it's like, of course you've done it. Of course we've all done it. We've all fucking self-destructed for attention.
I think the major things in my life that was really self-destructive was never for that. It was something I didn't control well.
Anyway,
and it was my own coping mechanism to isolate.
We could circle back to that, but we got to finish go through this list. We only have 2 more to go, and number 4.
Wow, we still have 2.
Yeah. So the fourth one is degenerate. The fourth thing I wish I knew before I started podcasting is degenerate content. In the context of Terrorisk, is engaging because it's authentic. Like, who the fuck's gonna sit here and lie about like the retarded shit we subject ourselves to just because of sheer like bad decision making? Like that's why people like to me, like, I'm not saying this stuff is like hot stuff. This podcast is hot stuff or anything, but I will say like the stuff that I've seen. I follow the metrics, and this is stuff that gets the most reactions or like the most like ha-has or like the most outlandish like ridiculous like degenerate shit. Like. They're like, are you fucking serious? Like,
because people are afraid to be that way.
It's cathartic.
And also, people are that way, and they're afraid to talk about being that way. My life is pretty crazy and fucked, and I say a lot of shit that most people would be ashamed to say.
Look, before you go off on that, so to summarize, I just want to add a header to your Brendan thing. So to add a header to what Brendan's going to say, I think what he's going to dive into is the fact that, we all do stupid shit, and very few of us like to talk about it. So it feels good, like kind of a release, to hear someone else talk about like the stupid and fucked up shit they've done. And
or if you haven't, and then you just feel better than me,
and it makes you feel less alone. Well,
it makes you feel like you're not as shitty as me, maybe.
Nah, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes really, really embarrassing mistakes.
You're all fucked up.
Because
especially if you're watching this shit. God fucking damn it.
Oh yeah.
You have fucking problems and you need help.
No, it's not like that. It's fine. This podcast is not at near. I've been seeing some like real garbage out there. It's like it's really fucked up. I mean, it's at least between us. We could bicker. We could be shitty towards each other, but we've known each other for years. I've seen these podcasts where they take like groups of these random Instagram chicks and Instagram boys and just make them argue about like really petty fucking bullshit. And I'm like, this is just not even grown up. This is like really fucked up. Like,
I don't think this is that grown up.
I'm not talking about grown up. I'm saying at least it's honest. You know, at least it's
Yes,
not like.
yes, I guess so. That's pretty grown up, actually.
Mm-hmm. And it's and we admit it's the most unmarketable podcast in the world. That's how I'm marketing it, literally. That's our brand. It's the most unmarketable podcast in the world, which, you know, some people might find value in that down the line. You never know. Anyway, yeah, degeneracy is engaging because it's authentic, and the point is, I guess people want the authentic shit. The stuff that was bullshit, I guess, is when I was like, when I would be nervous is when I would have another guest who's like I don't know, not used to hanging with me that often, and it's like someone who hasn't really gotten fucked up with me before, and then they go on the podcast with me, then it could get kind of awkward. That's when I think are the most inauthentic moments on Terrorisk, is when I'm just like trying to be polite and trying to make them feel comfortable, trying not to be whatever. And that's when like I rewatch those as I edit it, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing?
I feel like that's like more interesting though, to watch somebody's reaction to like
different people. Yeah.
That's like if I'm on every fucking time, it's gonna get boring.
Nah,
If
but
you have
I still
somebody who's not expecting it. Like, it's like watching, like, do you like Eric Andre at all?
Yeah.
It's like watching his show. You don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Well, how their demeanor's gonna be when they get on that show. I'm not gonna do some Eric Andre shit. That's crazy. I don't know how he gets away with it.
My God.
Are you allowed to just like whip your dick out in front of somebody? And
It all gets edited
on your talk show.
It gets edited. You know that, right? The whole
It gets
show.
edited, but he really whips his dick out and shit.
So what? It got edited out.
But in front of a person,
So what?
that's illegal.
They sign a waiver, but when they go on the show,
It says you're allowed to fucking indecent exposure. They don't read the fine print.
exactly, they don't read the fine print.
Really?
To them, it's a gig. 'Cause, you know, like imagine you're a working actor, you're in the biz of entertainment, and you're not quite superstar status, or you're so big.
You have a fucking manager or a lawyer who does this shit for you.
Listen, let's say you're so big that you're just so used to going view after like commercial.
No,
talk
you would
show,
have a
whatever.
manager or lawyer doing their fucking job and like, okay, it says this. Right?
Okay,
You would
so
have somebody.
So think about this. Let's say you're in your head.
have people.
Listen,
You're not just
listen.
a
I'll
celebrity.
explain it. If you let me explain it, I'll explain it. This person has already a list stacked of appearances they're going to make, right? As their manager, and they said they call up. They see something in the one of the like hundreds of like agreements and waivers they must read like after like one after the other, and they're reading through one and they're like, oh, this one says something about indecent exposure, and just to double check, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, one of the gigs you got, your 2:00 on the 5th, it says there's a little part about here. It says something about like a possible indecent exposure. I just wanted to know if you want me to sign off on it. And they're like, what was the show again? And they're like, the Eric Andre show for Adult Swim. And say, oh, Adult Swim. I never heard of the show. Yeah, fuck it, I'll sign off on it. And then it's like,
Why would they say fuck it?
why not? It's showbiz, dude. They're performing. They're working. They have to find work.
Their job is to look at the contract.
What?
That's their job.
Okay, but then you know how many movie scenes where it's like you're going to be exposed to genitalia by actors during cuts? It's a common thing.
Okay, so really that's what's happening, you think?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not assuming. I mean, there's probably many instances, but I'm saying like that probably happens more often. You ever heard of the concept of Occam's razor?
Mavering's razor?
Occam's razor.
No.
It's a philosophical concept or whatever you call it, where the idea is usually the simplest explanation to something is usually the truest one, 9 times out of 10.
Okay.
So, you know, if there's something you don't understand, it's often the simplest explanation. Because it's not because, like, you know what's right or wrong. It's mostly because more often than not, when people try to, like, reason something that they don't understand, they make it more complicated than necessary. So if you could find the simplest possible...
I make everything more complicated.
But if you could
than
find,
necessary.
but if you could find the simplest possible answer, that's probably probability-wise going to be the correct one. You know. Interesting, right? You learn a lot when you hang out with Dr. Ivan. I shouldn't be a doctor. I think I'll be more.
No.
I'll be better off as a digital marketing
Just
specialist.
stick to the sword.
Why? You can't. First of all, you can't contain me. I'm like so good at like a few different things. Not a lot of things, but a few different things. Not just sword, okay? Maybe like 1 or 2 other things I'm good at. Like, Okay, so just don't put me in that sword box. I'm not just a sword guy. I'm also
He makes me fight him and spar with practice swords, and he beats my legs up, and they hurt. I have to go to work as a cook. This motherfucker just wakes up and works at the house, and I have to get on the bus. And my legs, like, oh my god, I got hit in the fucking back of the fucking leg with a fucking sword.
It'll toughen you up though. It'll heal stronger, to be honest.
He's fucking still hurts a little. That was like last week.
God, you're such a bitch, man. Just ignore it.
Fuck you.
Pain is weakness leaving the body.
No, it just makes it harder to walk around while I'm working.
Oh my god. And you know what? You gotta admit, like, your inactivity is making you weaker. You don't ride bikes anymore. You're a lot less able. You're a lot less strong of a
Running around
rider.
the fucking kitchen all day. It's enough.
No, because you're running
It's
around
a
the kitchen.
lot.
Because you're running around the
I'm
kitchen, you
sweating
should.
my ass off.
Because you're running around the kitchen, you should work out more so you could be more fit than the kitchen. You shouldn't make the kitchen more fit, to match it. You should be more fit than the kitchen. That's how you get higher. That's how you get noticed.
Well, it's the summer. We'll go on our bike rides.
And sword fights.
They only give me fucking 20 hours a week now, so yeah, I'll have more shit to do.
All right. Let's see. First of all, how long are we at? Oh shit, we're like well past the time. But anyway, let's still cover the last one.
Yes.
The fifth thing I wish I knew before I started podcasting, was the 5 W's. What are the 5 W's, Brendan?
What?
What are the 5 W's?
What?
What are the 5 W's?
I said what?
No.
Who?
Okay.
When?
Okay.
Where?
Okay.
Why?
Yes. Who, what, where, when, why?
Yeah, so he didn't get that joke. That was funny, actually. I had to say it 3 times. That was a good gag.
I didn't get it. Can you explain it?
Because he kept asking me, what? And I kept saying, what? And you kept re-explaining the joke, even though what was actually one of the words.
Yeah, but you only said one of them. You should have said all of them.
But I thought you were re-asking me the question. That's what made it funny. Because I started with what?
Okay, fine.
Oh,
you got me, man.
You ruined it. You ruined the joke.
I don't think it was that funny, but you got me.
I think it was pretty good.
You got me, man. Anyway, the 5 W's with sans Brendan's joke.
Here,
Who,
fine.
what, where, when, why. Look, it's an important thing, okay? This concept is what's going to improve the podcast. Seriously, because it wasn't until really recently I would always just be flying blind. Like, despite the fact that you might say before I was a good host, the truth is I was still I would always go into these episodes without a plan in mind or not having any kind of guidance. I was basically flying with the windshield painted black on an airplane. But now, it's no matter what you bring up, you could always just apply the 5 W's to it to really get to the core of it. And it's I think that's a really useful thing. And that's what I wish I knew before I started doing this, is I wish I knew how to apply asking to any subject matter, who, what, where, when, why, whether you're doing an interview. What?
Nothing.
Oh my God. You think you're so funny. But yeah, seriously.
Somebody out there does.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's an important thing though. It's an important thing. I don't know. You might think it's stupid, but you don't think it's useful?
Yeah, sure. But I just think certain things should just come naturally. I don't want to have to think about that.
Yeah, because it's
just
not
like certain music, A into D diminished. And I know what it sounds like. Don't tell me the fucking letters that you made up in your fucking head about this.
Yeah.
I'm a.
You're like, me grog, me play guitar, me no learn no,
Oh,
me
yeah.
just go
Yeah.
oh.
Yes.
That's you. Yeah.
Actually, fucking exactly.
Yeah. You're grugged out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I hear it. I don't have to fucking have a letter to the sound. It's the one thing in my life that I don't have to fucking overthink. I overthink fucking everything. So if there's something I don't have to overthink, I can just feel it out. I'd rather do it that way because I don't want to overthink something that gives me pleasure. It's fucking horrible.
Damn, that sucks. For me, I have a mind palace. I have things I store away in my brain, and then whenever I want to dive deep, it's opening up a file cabinet. Just going through it, say, ooh, let's pull out this one. I haven't looked at this in a while. And then I would just go through that shit. That's how I recall shit.
Everyone does brain things differently.
Yeah. The Mind Palace.
Everyone's brain's different, everybody. And everyone's brain does things differently.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Everyone's brains do things differently. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But you should never be afraid to take magic mushrooms. I don't care what you think, how crazy you are. Okay, just fucking eat them. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone should do mushrooms.
Yeah,
Try
I
that.
don't care. You're not crazier than us. You're not crazier than your mind's gonna go crazy because you eat mushrooms. It's gonna fucking set you straight. Okay.
Anyway, thank you guys. By the
You
way,
need to lose your mind because your mind was fucking your shit up.
Yep,
Lose it
so-
sometimes.
so while we're losing our minds, I just want to say thank you guys
Thank you.
for listening to the 5 things I wish I knew before I started podcasting. But like now that we got to the list, I guess we could dick around. I just want to ask: do you still read? Have you ever read a comic book series?
I used to make a comic book called Super Stick, and they would give me a couple cents per copy in the just to humor me, I guess. But I read the Simpsons comics, and I read a bunch of Marvel comics when I was a kid. I would go to the comic book store a lot, but it never really caught on.
Okay. I got a comic series that I think you might like. It's only fucking 5 books.
I can read comics.
Yeah, it's only 5 books long. It's really good. It's called Why the Last Man, and it's about it's about what would happen if a plague hit the entire human species, where all the men died. Every single man, human male. Well, I think it was more than humans, but every single male mammal I think dies, or something like that, or primate. And there's except one human guy left, and it's his story basically, and it's a really interesting story. Imagine that, being the last man left on Earth.
I really can't tell where that's gonna go.
Dude, it was crazy. It was like a post-apocalyptic world. It was the world was just embroiled in chaos. Imagine just nothing but women, just their husbands, fathers, brothers, sons, all instantaneously dead.
But there's one dude.
There's one dude.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
you read it.
yeah.
Okay, cool. No, it's cool because he comes across crazy Amazonian bitches who cut off their tit so that they could fire an arrow better, and they just want to kill him to rid the world of all men. And there's some who just want to kidnap him and rape him so they could get pregnant and have more babies. And there's others that just want to get laid because they haven't seen a man in months, and they're oh my god, I gotta have sex with this guy. Could you imagine a world where every woman dies except for one woman?
That'd actually be fucking horrific.
Exactly. So a story about where every man dies except for one. It's really interesting. It's a good story. You should check it out.
Maybe.
I'll let you borrow it. I have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's on that shelf. All right. Well, that about wraps it up. You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
It's no more questions.
No, we went through. It's not even a question.
We went
It's
through the 5
things
thingies.
I wish I knew before podcast.
All right.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Say nighty night.